Hey everyone, welcome back to Heart Breathings. Every quarter I like to do a breakdown of how Q2 went and how the new quarter is getting set up for my goals. And we're going to do that today. But something shifted for me this quarter when I had my plan all ready to go. And then I had a moment of clarity and realization. So we're going to talk about my new Dragonfly story today. So a little bit of setup. I have a Dragonfly story in my past that was a moment when I was feeling really low and I needed some kind of sign. I asked the universe for a sign, and I had a dragonfly that landed on a phone case that had a book cover of My Beautiful Demons when I had just redone the covers. I have the whole story of that dragonfly encounter here on my channel, so I will link that for anybody who hasn't seen it that wants to hear more about that symbol. For me, it was just a sign that said, it is time to get back to the joy of your writing. Now, if you are somebody who has been an author or has ever taken your creative passion and made it an income source, you know that it's really easy to fall from a place of, I just am writing for the love of it, into a place of, okay, how can I sell more books? Or being disappointed that it's not, going the way that you hoped it would, or feeling comparison when you see somebody else do better, or feeling like you're maybe not writing the right genre. And it can be really easy when there's all this noise around your creative passion to sort of drift from the core of the creativity into a place of, I'm just thinking about all the social media and the marketing and everything that goes along with it. And that kind of stuff, at least for me, can drain my joy and my creative energy. But over the past 3 years, I have really, since I had Evie, since I started this YouTube channel and courses and everything else, I have really been slow to write books. I've still been doing it. I've published several books since this YouTube channel started, but I feel, been drifting away from the passion and the core of my writing. And it's been obvious when I do these reviews and I start looking at my Kanban board that all of the Heart Breathings videos and stuff get done and those goals are getting hit. And my Sarra Cannon writing stuff is not getting done the way that I want it to, quarter after quarter. And this quarter, Q2, was no exception. I only wrote less than around 10,000 words in the entire quarter when I had planned to write the entire book. And so I was spending a lot of time as I was doing my quarterly review thinking, okay, what am I doing wrong? I've got to get better at time management. If I could just figure out a way to slot in guaranteed writing time, I will get this done. And for some reason, I was thinking that was going to make all the difference. Okay, but the truth is, I have tried to do that every single quarter. Where I've tried to develop a new writing habit. I've tried to get back into the source of it. And I know that some people in the comments will say things like, maybe it's just not a season of your life where you're writing and so on. And that can be true. Sometimes we do go through seasons. And I think I was in a season where just writing was not the best thing for me because I was so passionate about my courses and Heart Breathings and everything going on there. But the more I've been away from that passion, that core of writing, the more I have started to miss it, to a point where it makes me really, really sad when I think about all the stories I want to tell and my inability to sit down and get it done. And so I know in my heart that it is time for me to be writing again, and I have to find a way. It's like life or death situation for me. And here's one of the ways that I know. We went to North Carolina. We flew to see some family and friends that we hadn't seen in years. And it was a great trip. And on our way home, I was working in the plane on Publish and Thrive. So Publish and Thrive is my self-publishing course. And we open enrollment July 17th. So it's coming up soon. And I was planning to re-record large portions of the course, even though it's starting later this month. And I was really trying to figure out, okay, how can I manage my time in such a way that I can get these videos recorded and put 100% into my book? And so I was working through my schedule and thinking, okay, I can do this, and getting really excited about it. But George and several of my very good friends were like, you're doing way too much. You're putting too much on your plate. And I am just kind of always somebody who wants to get a lot done, and I get joy out of it. So I was like, no, I can do this. I can do this. So I got home pretty late from this trip, and we're coming in, we're carrying bags, and George stops short at the garage door and he goes, Sarah. And I come running over there thinking, who knows what I'm about to see. And there was a shriveled up dead dragonfly sitting literally on my doorstep. Now, whether you believe in signs or not, it's something I truly believe in, signs and synchronicities. And I felt like I got hit in the chest when I saw that dragonfly, because I knew that it was a message from God or the universe, whatever you want to believe, that I was ignoring my writing and the thing that fills me up, that I have just sucked all of the energy and the creative passion out of my own writing career for too long. And that life or death situation, I need to get back to my writing, to the passion and joy of my writing. And so I just sat and thought about it for a while, and I wasn't even sure what I was going to do, because I have all these other plans and all these things that I was going to do. So basically, after thinking about it, journaling about it, what I knew in my heart and my intuition was telling me that I needed to slow down in some other areas that I had been going full force head first into, so that I could create my space for my writing, because I've been focused so much on time management, and time management is super important. Like, you can't do everything, but you can do and accomplish a lot when you really focus in on, this is the goal I'm going after, and these are the 5 things I'm going to do to get there, instead of just being like, I'm going to do 500 things, right? And I have gone really far in my life and career by following that system of saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to accomplish, and here's exactly what I'm going to do to get it, and really focusing my time. However, where I have not been focused and where I have really started to see a problem for myself is in my energy management. And what I mean by that is, there are some types of tasks in our careers, our goals and everything that really are low energy, or they don't take an enormous amount of creativity, or maybe they're newer tasks, so they take like a different kind of creativity. So for example, sitting down and answering emails, creating a workbook, outlining videos, that kind of stuff is happy and fun, and it doesn't take a lot of energy for me to do it. I enjoy doing it. I sit down, I could spend all day answering emails and helping people out and answering DMs and making new Instagram reels. Like, I could just do that all the time. Even if I'm low energy, I can mostly show up for those things. However, there are other things like writing books that are more long-term type projects that you don't get immediate feedback from, that don't have that like daily joy, like, oh, I posted a reel and now I have 10 likes, that kind of feedback. It's the slog of sitting down every day with a really difficult creative task and seeing it through that I have been missing out on, not because I'm lazy or I'm broken or I'm not managing my time well, but because my energy is not there. And so I started just really sitting and thinking about, what do I need to do when it comes to my energy? So I sat down with a notebook and I just created kind of my own little energy audit, which basically meant that I sat down and said, okay, what are the things right now that are really taking up the majority of my energy and actively draining my energy? Like, where is most of my energy going? And which of those things are just sucking the energy out of me? And then where are the things in my life that are refilling the well, that are giving me more energy, that are making me feel pumped up? What are those kind of activities, and how many of them are there? And I kind of made 2 columns and sort of compared them. Then I started looking at the drains my energy or takes a lot of my energy list. And I started saying, what of these things are like energy vampires that are truly like not totally necessary for me to be handling, things that I either don't enjoy or that I do enjoy, but that I'm spending way too much time on, that I could eliminate. So the thing that kept coming up, which really should not have been much of a surprise for me, was that a lot of what drains my energy right now is the amount of time that I spend on social media. And I even have cut that back from where I was 6 months ago, but I think it needs to come back even more. So this is a big change that I'm going to be making, because if you are someone watching who you also feel like you're really empathetic, you know what I'm talking about. But I have always been an empathetic person. I've always been a peacemaker, somebody who always looks on the brighter side of things and tries to like make sure everybody's taken care of and is nurturing. And And I hate to see people arguing with each other all the time. I hate to see people upset. I hate to see people going through any kind of suffering. It's obviously none of us like to see that, but it feels like for the last couple of years between COVID and all of the like social events that have happened, there's a lot of good awakening that's happening, but it comes with also a lot of change and anger and arguments and, polarizing viewpoints shared on social media. And even though I have tried a little bit to curate my feed or to step back a little bit from those things, I know that every single time I step onto social media and I start scrolling, I start to see things that really drain my energy. And it's a difficult decision to make to step back a little bit from social media because I do enjoy it. That's where I get a lot of community. That's where I talk to a lot of people. And it's also where I get a lot of ideas and inspiration. But mixed in with that inspiration is also a lot of anger and suffering and even things that are beautiful, but that trigger my own comparisonitis and my own feelings of I'm not working fast enough. I'm not going hard enough. And I know that there will be some people that watch this and think bad thoughts about me. And sometimes that type stuff drains my energy too, is that I worry so much about upsetting people or anything when I'm just sitting here telling my truth on social media or on YouTube. So I did this energy audit. I really thought about this dead dragonfly that I feel like was such a sign for me. And I have changed my plans up for Q3. So what we're going to do here, I know this video, I'm already been talking for a while, is long, but I'm just going to take you quickly through what my Kanban board looks like so you can see the evidence, and we'll talk about whether I hit my goals or not just briefly. We're not going to go into it as detailed as I usually do. And then I'm going to share with you some of the big things that I'm doing here in Q3 to hopefully help to raise my energy and continue to be a strong part of my community and keep building community while also stepping away and setting better boundaries for myself when it comes to social media and the types of things that drain my energy. What I need from you, what I ask from you is that please be kind in the comments, because it is not always easy to share all these ways that I feel like I am allowing things to get to me, or that I am, having a hard time setting boundaries or spending too much time comparing myself to other people on social media. I just want to be honest because I know that some of you might be going through the same thing. And so maybe this will be an encouraging moment for you also to maybe set some better boundaries for yourself if you feel that that's right for you. Okay, so this is my Q2 Kanban boards. And as you can see, just like I was talking about, this one is my heart breathings goal. Almost everything got done. And when it comes to my actual goals, I wanted to hit 54,000 on YouTube. So I'm like 100 away from that goal. So I consider it good. I hit my income goals for Etsy and my courses, like pretty much did a great job with this goal. And you can see why, because almost everything actually got done and I stayed focused. Now, when it comes to this one, this was my 6 months for life goal. This was goal number 3. I did keep track. I did some good things here, but I'm going to be kind of rebooting my 6 months for life. So I didn't start any vlogs. I fell short of some of the decorating type things, but I think I mentioned before when I was setting up this goal that this was not so time sensitive for me, just as long as I got a lot of these things done. And I feel really good about the pile that's down here. So I feel like I did a great job with that goal as well. But when you come back over here to goal number 1, you can see that my goal was to finish 80% of the tasks that I set out for myself. I was trying something a little different, like not having my goal set on my income or any kind of numbers other than I'm going to get 80% of this done and see where we end up. And even with that type of goal, where it's just a matter of following through, the majority of the work did not get done. And all of this here is the writing that didn't get done. And everything else is basically a project that is all about updating some of my books so that I have better back matter and changing some of the links and stuff. So really, this stuff, I did get a lot of it done. I got a big portion of it done. It just took longer than I expected. So I'm still going to keep all of this up on the board for next quarter. But what really starts to get to me is that this is like a year's worth of quarters that I have had my writing just continue to sit up in the doing or the to-do section of my Kanban board. And I'm just frankly kind of sick of myself when it comes to that. And I'm thinking, okay, with that idea and that understanding that I haven't been doing this and following through, not because I'm not managing my time well, but because I'm really not managing my energy well, I know that things have to change for me. So Q3 is the beginning of that change. So let's reset this board and talk about what's changing in Q3. So that's my setup for my new Kanban board for Q3. I'm really excited for some of the changes that are going to happen. So let's go over the specific goals real quick, and then I will tell you kind of a little bit more about how I'm planning to implement it and sort of a little ending to that Dragonfly story. Here is a look at my goals for the upcoming quarter. So the way I've worded my writing goal now is to reclaim joy in my writing career by nurturing my creativity and building a runway for the most successful book release of my career so far in Q4. So this is what I would call a future-based goal. So future-based goal is really when you know you're doing work now that's going to lead to the result in the next quarter. So the work for me is really getting my backlist updated, getting my newsletter rebooted, and writing this book and getting my marketing plan ready so that in Q4 I can actually publish this book. And this goal is different from I'm going to complete 80% of the tasks or I'm going to raise my income this quarter. This is I know I'm working towards something that's important to me. I would love to have my greatest book launch ever in Q4, and that excites me. And so I've found goal wording that excites me and gets me really in the mood to like, okay, let's do this. And so I'm hoping that's going to help. And of course, the next couple of goals and what I've changed with those is also going to help support my creative ability to get this done. Goal 2 is exactly the same as it has been for a while, except I just changed the number. So to create quality, heartfelt content for heart breathings in order to grow my impact and income, I want to get my Instagram to at least 11.5 thousand, YouTube to at least 55,000, and then I have an Etsy and a course income goal for those. So that is a good shift. I'm not re-recording the entire course of Publish and Thrive. I'll see if I can do that for the next round, or we'll see as soon as that can get done. I am expanding the course from 5 weeks to 6. I'm adding a kickoff call and some other really great content to make it even better, but I'm not going to take on the process of re-recording 88 videos in a month. I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm glad that my friends and the universe kind of talked me down from that, because I know the book just wouldn't have gotten done. I've shifted my priorities and I'm excited for just continuing to work on this goal. Now, the final goal is really where a lot of changes in my life are happening. And I actually did not set any kind of numerical goal or any kind of specific out of my control goal. I just said to set myself on a healthier path by following through on my 6 months for life plans. So if you've taken my HB90 course, you know that this is not the ideal way that I tell you to set a goal, but I kept trying to figure out how to word this in a way that would be supportive to me. And I thought, you know what? It's just about following through. I just want to be healthier and I just want to follow through. And I already have enough pressure on my plate from these two goals that this one, I'm just going to focus on nurturing myself. So I set a goal that felt really nurturing as well. So the night that we got home and I started thinking more and journaling about what this dead shriveled up dragonfly was meant to share with me. And I started really and truly understanding that once I focus on my own energy and getting myself back to a place where I feel good and I'm taking on a little bit less of the worries of the world, it doesn't mean that those things aren't important and that I don't care and that I'm not willing to fight for what's right in the world. But I can't show up for other people and for the world and the things that need to be done if I am not taking care of myself. And I think that as someone with a lot of empathy and a lot of like just passion and care for my community, it has been really difficult over the past few years. And I know that so many of you have been going through this too, where it's like the creative work becomes the hardest work because there's so many things that drain the pieces of our creativity that are necessary for us to get those books done, for us to feel good, for us to fill our hearts with joy and passion and excitement. And I know that not everybody's like this. Some people have been thriving in the idea of kind of using their novels as an escape. And if that is you, then I think that's awesome that you've had that creative energy throughout this entire time. But I know there are some of you like me who have been finding the creative side of your life more difficult during this entire past 2 to 3 years. And so I'm ready to see if I can make a shift in the way that I'm showing up and the things that I'm consuming in order to increase my energy. So the next day after we got home from this trip to North Carolina, we went to pick up my mail at my UPS store mailbox. And there were so many awesome things. So thank you to everybody who sent. I had this huge stack of stuff at the mailbox and I was just literally in tears as I carried it to my car because I just felt so grateful for everything that came in. We got home, I opened everything. It's just beautiful. I loved it all. It was so great. And then that night I was journaling about, how I want to make sure that I keep my connection with my community while also backing off of some of the other social media things. So some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing for 6 months for life is really, so this 6 months for life goal, just to kind of explain that a little better, it's 6 months where I'm going to be focused on 4 areas of my life: my wellness, my energy, my freedom, and my passion. And I'll explain more about that for anybody who's interested over on my Sarra Cannon channel. I did have a coffee chat this past Friday that I'll put down in the description box if you're interested in hearing more about that. But it's really about like taking control of my PCOS, my wellness, which is going to help my anxiety, because the more stressed I am, the more my PCOS starts to flare up. And I have been in a lot of flare up situations over the past 2 years just from taking on the stress of the world. And I need to get back to a place where I'm nourishing myself both mentally and physically. So I'm going to be working on my wellness. I'm going to be working on my energy. And some of what that looks like for me is setting better boundaries. So you're probably not going to see me responding to as many emails like right away. So please give me a little bit of leeway. Of course, if you're having a customer service issue, I want you to get taken care of as soon as possible. But otherwise, I might be answering emails, the next day or after the weekend's over instead of answering them at 10 o'clock at night right away. So please just give me that space that I need to set that boundary. And then maybe less responding to DMs past 5 p.m. I'm going to try to set some better boundaries when it comes to that. I might be unfollowing some people just because I don't feel that their energy is aligning with where I am right now, or in some way I'm comparing myself to that person and it's making me feel bad. And I just need to heal and focus on my own mental health right now. So that's part of the energy thing. But I'm also going to be spending more time outside, more time with the kids, more time gaming. This is something I've been wanting to do that I've felt like I needed to do intuitively for a while, but I just haven't been following through because there's just always so much to do that I'm not making the choices that nurture me most. And I want to change that. And then when it comes to my freedom, this is partially about getting free from the trauma of my past so that I can move forward without constantly feeling like I have to please everybody, that I have to show up and perform in a certain way. This goes really deep. I can't even talk about it all on a video like this. But, when you have childhood trauma, or you have these negative voices, toxic voices in your head, or these beliefs that limit you or that hold you back, like I'm flawed or anything else like that, sometimes that holds you down like chains. And I am so ready to break free from some of that trauma of my past and really stop focusing on it and just really start thinking about my future. Like, how do I want to feel on a daily basis? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And I definitely want to focus on that positive side of my energy so that I can show up for my best, because that's when I feel good, is when I'm feeling hopeful. And there's just been a lot of things that have started to make me feel hopeless and powerless lately. And I'm ready to take some of that back. So I want freedom for myself from some of that past trauma and those limiting toxic beliefs that I keep playing through my head. So this is going to look like therapy and more journaling and taking care of myself on multiple levels. So it's not going to be difficult things, but it's all going to be stuff that's on that brings me creativity, refills the well, renews my spirit list of things, like listening to music. I really want to learn to shuffle dance, which that's a story for another day, but I want to start having more fun when I can and stop letting so much of the heaviness of the world take precedent all the time. There are a lot of important things going on in the world that we need to fight for, but if it becomes our entire lives, like all the time, sometimes I think that we can just fail to show up in our best way because we aren't taking care of ourselves. And that's just my opinion. So if you disagree, you're totally welcome to disagree. But that's the way I feel about myself. And I really want to bring my joy back so that I can show up 100% when I'm needed in the places where I feel called to be. And the fourth thing is my passion. And this is something I'll be working on because I love to write. I am a writer deep down. I'm a storyteller, and I want to get back to it. And I'm also a teacher, and I'm passionate about my teaching. And so sometimes balancing what I do here on YouTube or teaching courses with what I'm doing in my writing career can be difficult creatively because I want to do it all. But like I said, I have the time management skills, so I know I can do this, but I just need to be funneling my energy and nurturing my energy in a better way so that I can really show up for my writing as well. And so I'm feeling completely pumped and excited for Q3 and all the changes that are coming, not only in Q3, but also following up on Q4. And I know that I'm on the right track. And part of how I know is that I opened up all of these packages, and then I did some journaling that night, and I said, okay, this is a big deal. Like, I'm not going to re-record Publish and Thrive. I'm taking a few things off my plate. I'm going to be saying no to some opportunities so that I can really nurture myself and focus on my writing. Is this the right path? And is it the right path to be sharing this over on my other channel and vlogging about the process and sharing this with the world, that I'm working on my wellness and my energy? Is that what I'm being called to do right now while I'm working on this final book? And if I'm on the right track, please send me another dragonfly sign as soon as you can tomorrow so that I know 100% I'm doing the right thing. And I do this sometimes where I ask for signs. I ask for the universe or God to show up for me in this way. And it always happens, like 100% of the time. As long as I'm looking for it and I'm open to it, it always comes. And this one came really fast. So I got up the next morning. George brought in a package and he says, hey, we missed a package in the car. And I thought, gosh, that's so weird, because I know I specifically went out there to make sure we had gotten all the packages. We had also gotten groceries. I knew the car was clear. And yet he goes out to get something in the car and there is this package. And so he drops it on the table while I'm eating breakfast, and I open it up and I just said, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. I could not believe it. So I'll share with you here in a second. I'll show you a picture of it. But I had gotten a t-shirt that not only had a dragonfly on it, but that had a crescent moon, which is my Sarra Cannon, like, writer logo is a crescent moon. And even though the colors are different, I knew, like, boom, this is a sign that I'm on the right path, that taking care of myself is the right thing for me to do. Getting back to the joy and love of my writing and focusing on feeling good again in all aspects of my life is where I'm meant to be. And that's where I'm going to be my strongest, to show up for all these other things that I need to show up for, all of the things that we're fighting for right now. I'm going to show up better for that because I am taking care of myself and I am finding my joy. And that joy is powerful. That passion is powerful. That freedom from my trauma is powerful. And I am ready to reclaim that for myself. So if you feel at all called to do something similar for yourself, I hope that this video helps. I hope that you feel encouraged, that you feel hopeful, that you feel inspired to get back to a place where you feel good and you feel passionate. I know that it can feel like an impossible road right now, especially for those of us that are empathetic, that are so affected by current events and arguing and anger and things that feel hopeless or that you're fighting for right now. But there is a path back to joy. And from that joy, we can be the fighters and the warriors that we need to be for whatever you feel called to do. And I feel really strongly about sharing this with you guys here today and continuing in future videos. And hopefully, I know I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to never answer emails or get caught scrolling Instagram late at night. It's going to be a process of learning how to set these boundaries, how to believe in myself and truly radically learn to love myself so that criticism doesn't affect me the way it does now, so that I can free myself from, a mother that really was incapable of loving me the way that I needed to. It's time for me to start to heal that stuff and to move forward. And so Q3 is the beginning of all of that for me. And thank you for being a witness to it. Thank you for allowing me to share it here on my channel. If you are feeling similar, I hope that you'll share it in the comments so that I know I'm not alone. And I also will have down below a sign up if you want to get that energy audit worksheet. If you're on my newsletter list, you got a link to it today, just because I wanted anybody who feels like you are resonating with everything that I'm saying here, that you have an opportunity to fill that out and figure out what's draining your energy, what's giving you energy, and focus more on those things that are really giving you life right now, because we all need it. And that is my message for Q2 and 3. A drastic shift from what I intended to do this quarter, but I'm ready for it and I'm excited for it. And I just appreciate you guys all being here to support me now and hopefully for many months to come in this journey. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you today. I did spend a lot of yesterday setting up a new writing space, a new writing desk in my other room, and kind of shifting the energy of that space a little bit. So I'm going to share that video with you guys on Sunday. And then next week, we will get into finally our series on how to write scenes that keep your readers engaged. So I hope you're looking forward to that. And if you really did feel something important happening for you in this video as well, I hope that you'll come follow me over on my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel so that you can hang out with us on Fridays during our coffee chat, where we'll be talking more about this kind of stuff. And you'll get to see my vlogs coming up for 6 Months for Life. And I will see you guys over there if you're interested. And if not, we'll continue to hang out here. And I appreciate you all. All right, I will see you in my next video. Bye.